They don't overpower you, they study you, they watch what triggers you, what makes you reply, what makes you explain, and once they understand that, they don't need to fight you anymore, they just need to press the right button. You think you're losing control, because life is chaotic, because people are unpredictable, because things don't go your way, but that's not the real reason. You're losing control, because you react too fast, too automatically, too emotionally, too predictably, every time something happens, a message, a tone, a look, you respond instantly, you explain, you defend, you justify, and in that moment, you give something away, not your words, your power. Most people think power comes from speaking, from proving a point, from winning an argument, from being understood, but real power, it comes from not needing to, from not reacting to everything, not answering every signal, not engaging in every situation, because the one who reacts first, is the one who loses. Control first. Think about it, when someone ignores you, what do you feel? An urge, to check again, to send another message, to explain yourself better. You tell yourself, it's fine. It's not a big deal. I'm just being understanding, but deep down, something doesn't feel right, a quiet discomfort, like you're giving more than you should, but you can't stop, because reacting feels natural, immediate, almost automatic, and that's the trap. You don't notice it happening, not at first, it's just small moments, replying too fast, explaining too much, caring a little too early, but over time, those moments repeat, and repetition becomes pattern, and pattern becomes identity, until one day, you're no longer choosing your reactions, they're choosing you. Now imagine something different. Someone pushes you, they expect a reaction, but you don't give one, no defense, no explanation, no emotional response, just silence, and suddenly, something changes. They don't feel powerful anymore, they feel uncertain, because now, they don't know where you stand, and uncertainty is something people can't control. The Stoics understood this long ago. Not reacting was never about suppression, it was about selection, choosing what deserves your energy, choosing what deserves your attention, choosing what deserves a response, because not everything does. Every reaction is a signal, it tells the world what controls you, and the worst part, most people never realize they're being controlled this way. You don't lose power in one moment, you lose it in patterns, small reactions, repeated over time, until people don't just see you anymore, they understand you too well, and once someone understands you too well, you become predictable. They know when you'll reply, they know what will upset you, they know what will pull you back in, and here's the part most people ignore: when people can predict you, they don't need to respect you, they just need to manage you. Predictability feels safe, comfortable, even honest, but to others, it makes you easy to read, easy to influence, easy to ignore, when they feel like it, because there's no risk, no mystery, no uncertainty, no consequence, and without those things, respect doesn't disappear suddenly, it fades, quietly, and when you become predictable, something else happens. People stop appreciating you, not because they want to hurt you, but because they don't feel like they can lose you, and anything that feels permanent, slowly loses value. You're always there, always replying, always understanding, always available, so they stop asking, what if I lose this person? And that's the moment your value starts disappearing. Look at your own pattern. You reply fast, even when they don't. You explain everything, even when no one asked. You stay available, even when you're not respected. And over time, People adjust, not to your words, but to your behavior. You tell yourself, I'm just being real. I don't want to play games. I'm just being myself. But deep down, you feel it, that slight imbalance, that quiet frustration, like you're giving more energy than you're receiving, but you ignore it, because being predictable feels like being safe, and being safe feels like being liked. But here's the truth most people avoid. Being liked is not the same as being respected. When people can predict you completely, they don't see you as valuable anymore, they see you as guaranteed, and once you become guaranteed, you're no longer exciting, no longer interesting, no longer worth paying attention to, not because you lack value, but because nothing about you feels rare anymore. Think about the people you value most. They are not always available, not always explaining, not always easy to reach, and that's exactly why you respect them, because their time feels limited, their presence feels intentional, and intention creates value, attraction, respect, curiosity. They don't grow from constant presence, they grow from contrast, from not always being there, from not always responding the same way, from not always giving people access to you, because when everything about you is expected, nothing about you is valued. The Stoics never tried to control how others see them, they controlled something else, their consistency in values, but not in reactions. They were calm, but not predictable, present, but not always available, and that difference changed how people experienced them. This is where most people get it wrong. They try to gain respect by doing more talking, more explaining, more proving, but every extra effort makes them easier to read, easier to predict, easier to ignore, and once that happens, you don't just lose attention, you lose respect, and that's when the real test begins. Because respect is rarely lost in one big moment, it's tested quietly over time, and most of those tests don't look like tests, they look small: a delayed reply, a broken promise, a change in tone, a little disrespect, small things, easy to ignore, easy to excuse, and that's exactly why they matter, because small moments create big patterns, and patterns create positions. Your position in someone's mind. Think about it. When someone keeps you waiting, what do you do? Do you question it or accept it? When someone speaks to you carelessly, what do you do? Do you correct it or excuse it? When someone gives less effort, what do you do? Do you notice it or compensate for it? That's the test, not the moment itself, but your response to it, because people are always learning what your boundaries are, not from what you say, but from what you allow. That's how boundaries work, not in theory, in behavior. A boundary is not something you announce, it's something you enforce, quietly, consistently, and when you don't enforce it, people adjust, not because they're cruel, but because human nature adjusts to access, to comfort, to what feels available, and if your time, your energy, your presence, always feel available, they stop feeling valuable. That's the part nobody talks about. Availability, without boundaries, creates familiarity, and familiarity, without respect, creates neglect, not hate, not rejection, neglect, and neglect is dangerous, because it feels subtle, but it changes everything. It changes how people speak to you, how they prioritize you, how seriously they take you, and most people don't notice it happening until they feel the difference: less effort, less care, less respect, and then they wonder, what changed? But usually, nothing changed suddenly, it changed slowly, through patterns, through tolerance, through silence, through over-explaining, through overgiving, through not drawing the line. And here's the truth: people respect limits, even when they don't like them, because limits create structure, and structure creates clarity, and clarity creates respect. That's why the strongest people aren't always the loudest, they're often the clearest, clear in what they accept, clear in what they reject, clear in what they allow, and that clarity changes everything, because once people understand where your line is, they move differently around you, more carefully, more consciously, more respectfully, and that's when your value changes. Not because you became colder, but because you became clearer, and clarity is power, because once you stop over-explaining, once you stop over-giving, once you stop over-tolerating, something shifts. You stop being easy to manage, easy to test, easy to take for granted, and that's the moment everything starts changing, because the next step is learning how to hold that line, without anger, without force, without losing yourself, and that's where most people fail, but that's exactly what comes next. You became predictable, because you were trying to be good, easy to talk to, easy to approach, easy to like, but slowly, being nice turned into something else: being available, being agreeable, being unable to say no, and that's where everything changes, because kindness has boundaries, nice often doesn't, and without boundaries, people stop seeing kindness, they start seeing convenience. There was a man, let's call him Daniel. Daniel was the kind of person everyone liked. He replied fast, showed up when people needed him, never said no. If someone cancelled, he said, no worries. If someone crossed a line, he laughed it off. If something bothered him, he kept it inside, because he believed, if I'm good to people, they'll be good to me. At first, it seemed true. People liked him, talked to him, included him, but over time, things changed. Replies got slower, plans got cancelled, effort stopped being returned, not in a dramatic way, just less, and that less felt heavy. Daniel noticed it, but he kept excusing it. They're busy, it's fine, don't overthink it. So he tried harder, more patience, more understanding, more effort, but the more he gave, the less he received, and that's when it hit him. He wasn't being treated badly, he was being treated exactly how he taught people to treat him. That's how it happens, not in one big moment, but through what you allow, what you ignore, what you tolerate. Every time you say, it's okay, when it's not, you lower your standard, and people adjust, not because they're cruel, but because human nature adapts. People don't stop respecting you because you're nice, they stop respecting you because they don't feel a boundary, no limit, no consequence, no risk, and without risk, there is no respect. You think being nice protects you, but often, it exposes you, because people start to notice. You won't push back, you won't walk away, you won't stop giving, and once they see that, they stop being careful with you. That's why nice people often feel invisible, not because they lack value, but because they hide it. Under constant agreement, constant availability, constant softness, and over time, that softness becomes invisible. The Stoics never taught harshness, they taught clarity. Know what you accept, know what you don't, stay calm, stand firm, because real strength is quiet, but never weak, and once you understand that, everything shifts. You stop reacting automatically, you stop explaining everything, you stop chasing understanding, because there's a difference between reacting and responding. Reaction is instant, emotional, automatic. Response is chosen, and that difference changes everything. When someone ignores you, reaction chases, response waits. When someone disrespects you, reaction explains, response pauses. When something triggers you, reaction jumps in, response steps back, observes, decides if it's worth the energy, and sometimes, the strongest response is no response at all. Think about that. How many times did you react just because silence felt uncomfortable? How many times did you explain just to feel understood? How many times did you chase clarity because uncertainty felt painful? That's not control, that's fear. Fear of silence, fear of distance, fear of losing connection. But control looks different. Control pauses, control waits, control chooses, and in that pause, you reclaim power. That's what most people miss. They think control means controlling others. It doesn't. It means controlling yourself, your timing, your emotions, your reactions, and when you master that, people feel it, not because you said something, but because you didn't. That silence changes how people experience you. It makes you harder to read, harder to predict, harder to control, and when that happens, respect changes, not because you demanded it, but because they feel they could lose access to you. That changes everything, because real power is never loud. It doesn't chase, it doesn't beg, it doesn't explain itself endlessly. It remains calm, clear, unmoved, and that's what makes it powerful, not because people fear you, but because they can't move you without your permission. Most people spend years chasing attention, validation, respect, without realizing those things don't come from doing more, they come from needing less reaction, less explanation, less urgency, and in that less, you gain something rare, control. There's a version of you that reacts instantly, that explains everything, that tries to fix every situation, and then there's another version, quieter, calmer, more grounded. The difference is awareness, awareness of your patterns, your triggers, your habits, because once you see them, you stop feeding them, and when you stop feeding them, they lose power over you. So next time something triggers you, pause, not to suppress it, but to choose, because that pause is where your power lives, and the more you protect it, the more your life changes. The moment you stop reacting is the moment people lose the ability to control you. If this changed the way you see yourself, subscribe to YouTube and stay with Stoic Havenway, because mastering yourself changes everything. Thanks for being here.